Hello, here we are again outside of Uzès, France. It's the 28th of October 2015, and if you look in the distance just beyond the power pylon, you can see a rainbow. Whether it's natural or not, I'm not able to tell, but what I think is telling is if you look above what appear to be natural clouds, we have had rain here today, but if you look up at a higher altitude, you can see all the telltale signs of the white, streaky aerosols being sprayed from airplanes. And what I wanted to talk about here, and this is at about 180 degrees difference opposite the rainbow that I was just showing you, is that we have again at higher altitudes clearly geoengineered non-clouds with the telltale ripples of NEXRAD or Doppler radar effect. Earlier today I tweeted about some really good news. Actually, the first time I tweeted about it was last night after another one of my followers had sent a link to me about the Republic of Cyprus having officially recognized geoengineering and their fight for it, their opposition to it. And in walking this afternoon with Mufida and our dog Charge, who you can see in the video, another bit of good news, and this is a very temporary, extremely rare phenomenon that I just happened to notice. We were looking across these grapevines where we are in southern France, and they can be incredibly beautiful. We never knew previously before our travels that grapevines would change with the autumn and the colors coming through. But in just having said to Mufida just now, look at how clear the air is. I could really notice it looking at the vineyard. And then, just to sort of test my hypothesis, I looked up to the hills and the horizon, and as some of you know, who've either read my tweets, read my posts on my blogs or whatever, we've now been traveling since May of 2012, slow traveling around Europe for 3.5 years nearly straight, traveling to more than 20 countries and actually living in countries rather than just flying from point to point. We've not taken a flight yet, just driving. And this is incredibly rare, to be able to see mountains or hills in the distance like that, where I don't know if you can really make them out in the video, but they're really actually green. And that's because we had really, really heavy rainfall today. But everywhere that we've been living, including Greek islands for 6 months, living in Bulgaria for a couple of months. Both times we were surrounded by mountains, and just this summer we spent about 3 months living in Austria, and the Alps were just beyond where we were living, and even then the mountains, which were rising hugely ahead, above the house that we were house sitting in, even then the mountains were completely chalk white, oftentimes not even visible. You'd never even be able to tell that the mountains were in fact there. Well, today, after the incredibly heavy rainfall, you can actually see those hills in the distance. And typically, just to give you an idea of how bad it often is, if I turn the camera over here just a bit, and right in the center of the frame is a clump of trees that are, just, 30 yards, 40 yards ahead of where I'm standing. Very often we could be standing at that distance, from here to that branch sticking out towards the road, and we can see the diminution of the color in the trees because of the chalky white nanoparticulates that are everywhere in the troposphere, that layer that surrounds the earth within which we all live. That's the air we're breathing. So when you look up and you see these nanoparticulate filled skies. Don't think it's a phenomenon that's just happening up there where the airplanes are. Everything that's being sprayed from the airplanes is making its way down to ground level. We see it all the time. We're breathing it. So the aluminum, the strontium, the barium, whatever they decide to add into the mix as part of their Black Op project, a project that has absolutely no official funding by any government around the world. So necessarily, by definition, that means the geoengineering program is a black op, a secret operation. As part of that secret operation, they are poisoning us with the nanoparticulates that, as I've said in my other videos, pass straight through the blood-brain barrier because they're so small that they're not held in check by the lungs, so it passes straight through to your vital organs. But today, another bit of good news, even though it's an extremely temporary phenomenon, I'm certain, is that the air is actually really clear right now, relatively speaking to the past 3.5 years that we've been traveling. So just wanted to turn on the video and capture that bit of good news as well. Okay folks, this is towards the latter part of our walk, the same walk as what I just videoed. And here you can see certainly a rainbow that is not a rainbow. And there you can see the sun. And what's being reflected is the spectrum off of the nanoparticulates. You can see that cloud within which the rainbow, non-rainbow, is appearing is just a bit of chem cover. Okay, but the thing that I really want to focus on again here today is we have not seen light like this in the longest time, where we can actually look even in the short distance and see incredible clarity. Granted, if you look up here, we still have the NEXRAD, the Doppler radar effect, the electromagnetic waves pulsing through the troposphere, and that's bad, so we don't expect this to last. But I have to tell you, it really lifts the heart to be able to see the world as it is actually meant to appear as we're getting close to sunset. I don't know if you can tell the colors and the clarity of these hills that are much closer in the distance than the others that I was showing you earlier. Everything's properly green, properly autumnal colored. This is something we've not seen in the longest of time. So even though we've got all this crap in the air, even though they are pulsing the troposphere right now because we've had so much heavy rain today, the air is finally cleansed to a large degree such that we can see in a way that we've not seen in so many countries over the course of so long. And before, when I was talking about our having lived in Austria all this summer, we also traveled and spent a lot of time in Slovenia and Croatia. Previously, we've lived in Tuscany. We've lived all over France near the mountains. I've already said Bulgaria, the Greek islands. We've lived near a lot of mountains, even in the southeast of England where we lived prior to traveling. We used to be able to see the downs, the South Downs, in a way that's akin to the way we're seeing these hills right now. Beautiful, clear, green. Now, every spring when we go back to England, because we have to re-MOT or re-inspect our car every year for the slow travels for the year ahead, whenever we go back, we are just absolutely stunned at the chalkiness, the white that permeates the air, such that we can't see anything like what we used to be able to see in England when we were living there. And I've lived in England since full-time since 2005. So going, well, actually more than 10 years now, not counting the 3.5 years I've been traveling. So this is just an incredibly glorious moment to be able to see things as they actually are, without the nanoparticulates covering and muting all of the beautiful colors, the beautiful spectrum of colors emanating from the evening sunshine. And here you can see our Labrador charge milling about looking for moles in the fields. She's a lovely female black Labrador that we're pet sitting. Anyways, one more final look at this. And again, I know there's crap up in the higher altitudes, but this really lifts the spirits. It's really a bit of good news. And let's take back the world. Let's take back all of nature the way it used to be. I really encourage you, if this is anywhere near today's date when you watch this video, I encourage you to go to my Twitter stream at Sean M. Madden and read through about 4 hours worth of tweets where I really challenge people, including very much the geoengineering community, the anti-geoengineering community, I should say, really challenging them and all of my fellow Americans and all of the people of the world who care about this world that has been turned very quickly upside down and inside out. Go back and read through that Twitter stream of today, the 28th of October 2015, and let's get back to root causes. Yeah, we can't fight geoengineering unless we're also fighting the larger battle against the New World Order brought to us by the State of Israel, which controls the United States. It controls the US presidency, the Congress, the media, our anti-education system, and on and on and on. You know, folks, I have an awful lot of Jewish friends, who I've worked in activist circles with for many, many years. Some of my fondest teachers from graduate school were Jewish, including a wonderful woman who used to work in British intelligence and also American intelligence during and after the Second World War. I dedicated my first book to her, my book Human Inquiry, about epistemology through the prism of Immanuel Kant and Hume's epistemological philosophical works. I dedicated my book to Beate von Room von Oppen, and so I have, countless Jewish friends whom I'm really close to. They are not who I take exception to. I take exception to the Zionists who have taken over both of my countries, both countries that I call my home, the United States and the United Kingdom, both of which I'm a citizen of. I take exception to the fact that my countries have been turned upside down and inside out, just as have all the countries around the world. The phony wars that we're waging, those are Israel's wars. They are not the wars of the American people. They're not for the benefit of the American people. The false flag attacks, the endless false flag attacks that we see week after week after week, the phony school shootings designed to make law-abiding Americans give up their guns. We are just being bombarded with lies such that we cannot see straight. And we cannot fight against any, marginalized, tiny sliver of the struggle unless we go to root causes. The State of Israel has been in control of our existence from before most of us were even born. I was born in 1965, and the same powers that brought us the phony State of Israel, not at all a country of chosen people, but the incredibly illegal State of Israel that is continuously waging genocidal wars against the Palestinians, against Americans. Americans need to wake up. Israel and those who brought it into existence have been waging a silent war on the American people from way before most of us were born. We need to wake up. We need to return to root causes, because we're never going to win any of these symptomatic battles like geoengineering until we find our natural, God-given voice to speak out and to name the enemy within. The fifth columnists who have been controlling our day-to-day existence for far too long. I'm fed up with it. I know a great number of people are fed up with it, and it's time for us to name the enemy within. In the meantime, enjoy this glorious light, this glorious view that we've been granted, a brief respite from the madness. We've had four plus days of absolute lack of sunshine. And it's incredible to actually be able to see the trees in all their glory and the full spectrum of colors. Thanks for watching this video, and until next time.